These are the 15 crops that make the most money on a small farm or home garden, ranked from number 15 right down to number 1. For years now, folks who visit my booth have asked me which vegetables actually pay the bills, so this is the video where I finally lay it all out. Number 1 is the crop that sells the most for me at market, week in and week out, and along the way I want to explain exactly why each crop sits where it does. The first thing to understand is the yardstick I am using, because these are not just my favourites. The first measure is popularity, plain and simple, because popularity drives sales. If people reach for a crop every single week, it earns its place. The second measure is seasonality, meaning how long I can keep a crop in the ground, or how early or how late I can bring it to market when nobody else has it. The third measure is quick turnovers, because a fast crop lets me grow a great deal of it on the same piece of ground in a single season, and that adds up in a hurry. The fourth measure is customer loyalty, and I will be honest, it is the least important of the four. Even so, it counts for something. A few of these crops earn their spot because my customers simply adore them. They are people pleasers, and they fill out the booth and pull folks in. Loyalty is what turns a one-time buyer into somebody who comes looking for my stall first thing every Saturday. And over 60 years, I have learned that a booth full of familiar faces is worth a great deal. So that is the scoring: popularity, seasonality, quick turnovers, and loyalty. Keep those four in mind as we count down, because between them they explain every single crop on this list. My name is Malcolm Ashby, and for 60 years I have grown vegetables and sold them at market. So if that is the sort of thing you want more of, consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always change your mind later. Now let me take you right to the bottom of the list, at number 15, and we will climb our way up to the single biggest earner on my whole farm. Starting the countdown at number 15, we have lettuce heads. They are not my flashiest sellers, but folks buy one or two every single week, and the revenue per bed is genuinely huge. The trick is diversity. I want different colours and different shapes, big green leaves, red oak leaves, all the varieties that look a picture at the booth. That mix brings a lovely fresh ambience to my stall, and these are young lettuces I transplanted just weeks before. At $3 to $4 a head, they add up fast. The real secret, though, is constant supply from the very first market to the very last, and that can be 25, 35, right up to 45 weeks of the year. Every single week, I need 200 to 300 heads ready to go. So you want a bulletproof planting schedule that mixes varieties with different days to maturity. That is what DTM means, and you keep sowing fresh trays every week or two. A single missed week leaves a gap in the beds you cannot fill later, so I treat that schedule as sacred and sow rain or shine. Do that and lettuce becomes a steady, dependable winner that nearly every customer buys without a second thought. At number 14, field peppers. Peppers are an absolute powerhouse for late-season cash flow. They take their time to establish, but once they start giving, they throw off tremendous value in just a few weeks at market or through the CSA, which stands for Community Supported Agriculture. Each plant gives me 5, 6, 7 really handsome peppers, and I sell them at $3 to $5 a piece, so the value per fruit is easy to see. Diversity is key again. All those different shapes and colours drawing the eye to my stall. And here is a tip that surprises people. Grow the smaller sizes. If a customer picks one big pepper and it weighs in at $5, they grumble. 2 smaller peppers for $6 and they are delighted. Same money, happier customer. Start your peppers indoors and transplant them strong and vigorous, never skipping a step from the nursery to the field, and you are set up for an abundant harvest down the road. They love warmth, so I hold them back until the soil has truly settled, and I keep them well fed through the summer, because a hungry pepper plant simply stops giving. Get that establishment right, and a single planting will pay you back right up until the frost. That brings us to number 13, field tomatoes. Year in and year out I get bumper crops of heirloom field tomatoes, and they are a proper hit at market. Like peppers, you start them early, pour in the effort, and eventually you just walk to the bank. They would rank far higher if it were not for the short window I get, only about 6 to 7 weeks from early September, and that is exactly when every other grower has tomatoes too, so the price is not what my greenhouse tomatoes fetch later. The setup is where you win. Start with lovely strong plants, bury them right up to the first true leaf, and trellis them on the Florida weave system. I prune a few times, not too hard, then leave them to it. Landscape fabric is non-negotiable because it holds the moisture, keeps the weeds down, and stops rain from splashing soil onto the leaves, which is how disease spreads. Invest heavily at the start, then do as little as possible until that rewarding harvest. Even with the short window, the flavour of a proper heirloom pulls people across the market, and I make sure mine are picked dead ripe so they taste like something worth the wait. For those few weeks they carry my booth, and that is enough to earn number 13. Coming in at number 12, spinach. Now most folks would not expect spinach here, but every year when I do the accounting, there it is among my best sellers, and it always makes me smile. Spinach is a workhorse. It does not need to be flashy, it just needs to be there, and it is, from early spring into summer, then popular all over again from autumn onward. I can grow it 7 to 8 months of the year, and it is my number one winter crop, the easiest thing to grow in the cold. In winter, it is honestly a different vegetable. The crunch and the sugar are something special, and customers truly appreciate that quality. Here is my main tip. I transplant my spinach, which sounds like madness given the labour, but it gives me perfect density and well-rooted plants I can pick leaf by leaf, week after week. Match your cultivars to the season, spring, autumn and winter, for the sweetest results, and use proper summer varieties if you push it into the heat. Under a simple cover through the cold months, it just keeps standing, ready to cut whenever I need it, which makes it about the most dependable income I have when the beds outside are bare. That is how spinach earns number 12. At number 11, fresh beets. I call beets the sleepy hit because they move volume steadily week after week, and then at year end the accounting shows they were right up among my best sellers again. I sell them bunched with their tops on, different colours and different cultivars, from my earliest markets to my very last. The demand honestly surprises me, but people love a good beet at the right size and colour. My trick for beautiful fresh beets is to transplant them. I raise them in cells and set them out, which is real work, but it gives me that perfect even density so the leaves stay healthy and I dodge trouble like Cercospora leaf spot. Get on top of that disease, keep a tight planting program running, and beets make serious money in the market garden. Folks buy them for roasting, for pickling, and for the sweet young greens on top, so nothing goes to waste. And that steady, all-season demand is exactly why they land at a solid number 11. Number 10 might surprise a few of you, and it is radishes. Come early spring, this is a crop you simply cannot grow enough of because folks are desperate for something fresh and radishes come in first. They mature in under 30 days, sometimes 20 to 25, and you bring them in bunched by size and colour, especially my favourite French cultivar, and command a lovely premium for a tidy little bunch. Radishes are easy and fast to establish. Keep a planting schedule ticking over week after week so that for your first 8 markets you have piles of them, because radishes in spring are king. I direct seed them nice and dense with the Jang seeder, which singulates the seed beautifully. Flea beetles and other pests can be a bother, so cover them with insect netting or row covers. Keep them well watered, and this is one of the simplest, most profitable crops you can grow in that early window. Grow them in the tunnels for the very earliest markets and out in the open as spring warms, and because the turnover is so fast, you can slot a crop of radishes into ground that is waiting on something slower. That speed is money, plain and simple. Number 9 is Arugula, or roquette as we call it in French. Like radishes, you can grow a great deal of it fast in early spring and bring it to market before many other growers have any, and for restaurant sales it is a home run. But here is where it beats radishes, because I can also grow it through autumn and right across the winter with multi-cuts, harvesting the same beds for months. That is how it climbs the list. Spring speed plus that long cool season window. Arugula is not complicated. I seed 12 rows on a 30-inch bed, and I absolutely must cover it for insect control, because the whole game is growing it clean without a single flea beetle. Master that, deliver a top-quality leaf, and you will sell a tremendous amount of it all year round. Chefs in particular cannot get enough of a peppery, fresh-cut roquette, and a standing restaurant order for arugula is about as reliable a bit of income as a small farm can have. At number 8, carrots. Pile them high and watch them fly. Fresh carrots are a favourite at my booth, and honestly, friends, if you have them week after week, you will sell them without a second thought. The secret is constant supply and genuine freshness, so I sell them with the top still on, which is what separates a so-so carrot from a proper garden carrot. I run 12 to 15 staggered plantings a year, so I am always harvesting fresh for my loyal customers, and I seed them dense, 5 to 6 rows on a 30-inch bed. I favour French heritage cultivars, the Nantes types, which are sweet, crunchy and full of flavour, the kind people taste once and fall for. The other half of the battle is growing them without weeds, and this is where the pros pull ahead. I flame weed in pre-emergence, triggering the weeds and then burning them off just as the carrots are about to break ground, so I am never on my knees pulling weeds by hand. Right method, less labour, more money. A bunch of sweet carrots with the feathery top still on is one of those things people cannot walk past. And once a customer tastes the difference between a garden carrot and a supermarket one, they are yours for good. That is loyalty and popularity working together, which is why carrots sit comfortably at number 8. Number 7 is the Hakurei turnip. These are a bestseller for me because the moment folks taste one raw, they are hooked. They are nothing like an ordinary turnip. They are a fresh salad turnip, sweet and crisp, meant to be eaten straight up. I could not tell you how many thousands of customers I have handed a slice to over the years. It is a royalty crop, a genuine fan favourite. The trick is to grow this particular variety, Hakurei, and to harvest them at the right size, about a golf ball or a touch bigger, never too large. Keep a steady supply through spring when the money is there before the market fills up. Load the booth with piles of them, and in autumn and winter sell them with the tops semi-trimmed for the chefs. I direct seed them dense, protect them from flea beetle, keep them well watered, and because nobody else has them, people will make a detour just to buy them. You will not find a proper Hakurei at the supermarket, and that scarcity means I set my own price and rarely have any left at the end of the day. Quick to grow, quick to sell, and a crop folks are genuinely loyal to, that is a strong number 7. We are closing in on the top 5, and number 6 may surprise you, but it is greenhouse string beans, year in and year out. Most growers would not think to grow beans under cover, but because mine are in the greenhouse, they behave as indeterminate plants, climbing high and giving for weeks on end, with 2 or 3 successions across the year. I grow them about 10 months of the 12, and they are a cornerstone of my supply to restaurants, chefs and grocers, because I can bring these lovely French fillet-type beans consistently for such a long stretch. The value per plant is high and wholesale demand is enormous. The trick is that long-growing window, stringing them up 5, 6, 7, 8 feet high, and harvesting fast with both hands, because efficiency at picking is everything. Pump out fresh beans week after week for months, and the money follows, which is why beans sit just shy of my top 5. A tender French filet bean is a proper delicacy, and the chefs who buy them know they will not find that quality from a distributor, so they order all I can grow. Long season, high value, and steady wholesale demand, that is a hard combination to beat. Into the top 5 now, and at number 5, another crop from undercover, greenhouse cucumbers. Trellising them on the umbrella system I have used for many years, I harvest weeks and weeks of beautiful fruit, the long English ones and the sweet Lebanese ones too, and they sell tremendously well at market. Everyone knows cucumbers are popular, but the real trick is growing them for such a long season, and that is exactly where the greenhouse earns its keep. I can ventilate to shed excess heat, add warmth when it is needed, and hang insect netting to keep out pests like the cucumber beetle. I control the environment and trellis them to be wonderfully productive, and I run different successions through the year so the supply never stops. Learn the techniques once, and this crop keeps on giving week after week which lands it firmly in the top 5. A slicing cucumber straight off the vine, still cool and crisp, is a world apart from the waxed ones in the shops, and my regulars know it. That steady flow of premium fruit over a long season is what makes cucumbers worth every bit of the greenhouse space. Number 4 is garlic, the ultimate money in the bank crop, because once it is planted, there is next to no work until you lift it and cure it. Do that curing properly, and you can hold the harvest for 2, 3, 4, 5, even 6 months, selling it off whenever you like, a big chunk to restaurants and grocers, or a little every week at a premium. Fresh garlic is the best there is. I grow hardneck garlic for its flavour, one favourite cultivar, planted in the autumn. I front-load the beds with good compost, get the spacing right, and above all make sure the seed is disease-free, which matters more than anything with garlic. Then I plant plenty and simply watch it grow. And here is my ultimate pro tip for harvest. Throw a party. Every year when it is time to lift the garlic, I bring a crowd to the farm. We have music and a good time, and all those hands pull, trim, and cure the whole crop in a day. I nearly forgot the second harvest too, the scapes, a gourmet item I bring to market in early spring when the booth wants that extra colour and the curious folk gather round. That is another slice of income from one dependable crop, and with almost no work between planting and harvest, garlic is about the closest thing to free money a market garden has. Making the top 3, at number 3, a crop that sells every single week I have it, cherry tomatoes. A diverse array of them, brown, green, yellow, and of course red. All those colours together just draw the eye. And for some reason I have never fully worked out, people buy cherry tomatoes without even glancing at the price. They pile them up, hand over their $20, and never mind, because they find them beautiful and delicious and perfect for a salad. My trick is to have them as early as possible, which is why I grow them in the greenhouse as indeterminate plants that climb 10-20 feet on a string. I circle the plant, cut the suckers every week, and lower and lean as they grow, using varieties bred for the greenhouse that deliver superior taste. Master those techniques undercover, and you harvest a bountiful crop of these little money makers week after week. There is something about a punnet of jewel-coloured cherries that a customer simply cannot resist, and because I have them long before the field growers do, I am selling them at a fine price while demand is at its highest. That is why they sit right up at number 3. Number 2 on the list is Mesclan's salad mix, which is nothing more than all those sweet lettuce varieties, cut small, leaves about the size of your palm, different shapes and colours mixed together, run through a bubbler, bagged and sold wholesale, semi-wholesale, at market and through the CSA. Salad mix is how I made my name. We were the first to bring fresh mix twice a week to the local grocer, and for a long span of years people have known me for it. For a pre-washed mix they can tip straight into the bowl, always fresh and always beautiful. I have tried every style of growing it, and I can honestly tell you the best way is to transplant heads of Salanova and cultivars like it, bred to grow small uniform leaves so you can cut them once, twice, 3 times from a single transplant at perfect density. Use landscape fabric so there is no soil or grit in the mix and no weeding to do, then just a sharp harvesting knife and a good bubbler to get it spotless. Bag it with air in the bag and you have got repeat business. There is no crop I know that turns a bit of ground into steady weekly income quite like a good salad mix, and the loyalty it builds is remarkable, because once a family gets used to your bag on the table, they will not go back. Do it right, and folks may just crown you the salad king or salad queen of your patch. And that brings us to number 1. When I look at the bottom line at the end of every year, the crop that sold the most is always the same. Greenhouse slicer tomatoes. Big juicy tomatoes I sell at market and to restaurants, and I have them early, right around the 1st of June, with plenty on the booth when scarcely anyone else does. These are nothing like field tomatoes. A great deal of energy and technique goes into them. They are heirloom type cultivars. They look and taste the part, but they are indeterminate plants grown in a greenhouse I heat, cool and ventilate, trained on 2 heads. I lower and lean them just like the cherry tomatoes, circling each plant on its string every week, and I harvest them over many months. It is hard work to grow tomatoes like this, but if you want to make real money in market gardening, this is the crop you must master, because if you are first to market with tomatoes this good, you will make a killing, just as I have done for all these years. So there you have it, my 15 most profitable crops, counted down from lettuce heads all the way to those greenhouse slicers. Every one of them has earned its place across my 60 years of growing and selling, and every one of them can earn its place in your garden too. Grow them well, bring them fresh, and let your booth do the talking. I will see